Have you ever heard of a black-owned business called Taylor Electric Company, founded in 1922 in Chicago? I never heard of it either. And it's still practicing. As of now, maybe 2024, I think it's still practicing. See, you don't hear things like that. Especially online, social media, you hear the most stupid, outlandish things. Because, of course, they're not going to say it in public, right? In your face. But I have seen videos where people are becoming bold, and those same people, I see them laid out on the ground. But anyway, I saw this video of this white guy. It was about a year ago, a short. He said, he was basically saying that black Americans didn't build this country, that it was his people who built this country with their sweat and blood. I'm like, idiot. The people that you're calling your people came here after the fact. They came here after the fact. But when slavery happened, they didn't need y'all. They started opening the doors for you to come here after slavery ended. I'll be back. Hey folks, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Appreciate your support and your help. Is there like a game going on right now? Like for real? Like, okay, because I'm hearing some yelling and encouragement. So let's go on. As I said, the guy, if I could find a clip of the white guy speaking so ignorantly with his whole chest, I might insert it if I could stomach it. Some things I don't want to hear twice. I just don't. I might put it in a video if I can't. If you don't see it, that means no. I don't want to put it in, but I might put it in the description and you can have at it. But Taylor Electric Company was founded in 1922, as I said. It is one of the oldest family-owned black businesses in the United States. It is also Chicago's oldest continuously operating black-owned business, and its history is intricately connected to that of the city itself. That's why I say you don't hear things like that. You know, it's up to us to bring things like that, because if it's not salacious, if it's not demeaning, if it doesn't stigmatize us, you're really not going to hear about it. Sometimes it's reported like 2 years ago, I think it could have been 2 years ago, two black young ladies, I think they're in high school, solved this very difficult, very extremely difficult mathematical equation. Professionals couldn't even solve it. And it was a video of them showing how they solved it. See, like I said, you don't hear things like that, but you know, we're supposed to be so inferior. Okay, let's go on. So, the founder of this electric company, his name was Sam Taylor. He came to Chicago from the coal mines in Alabama during the Great Migration. Sam Taylor had a 6th grade education and possibly a warrant out for his arrest for shooting the man who unalived his brother. In Chicago, according to his son, Rufus Taylor, he worked stoking coal for a railroad, running a saloon, and sweeping floors at Cuneo Press. I guess it's Cuneo Press, a magazine publisher. He also began to help his neighbor, black electrician Robert Patterson, doing electrical work at the Pullum Company. Taylor also acquired his first potential employee and young Charles Stewart, son of Annie Stewart, with whom he would live for some years. He treated the boy like a son and later an apprentice. At about this time, Taylor saw an advertisement on the back of a magazine, possibly at Cuneo, for a correspondence course that promised training for becoming a licensed electrician. According to Charles Stewart, the company refused to send the course to a black man, but a Greek American friend stepped in and sent for the course under his own name. You see that? Sam Taylor took the course and got his electrician's license in 1922, perhaps the first ever issued to a African American by the city of Chicago. Are you guys getting a clear picture as to why there was so less or not that many black people in certain sectors in this country, and, not too many black ownerships? You getting a clear picture, right? Okay, let's go on. As Taylor Electric Company, Taylor installed doorbells and lights in the Motor Road district for neighbors like Blue Star Auto and Al Capone. He and Charles also did electrical work for Greer College, where Sam tried for 2 years to get Charles admitted as a student, but was ultimately successful. In the 1930s, Sam Taylor went head-to-head with the notorious Umbrella Mike Boyle, fighting for membership in the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 134. The union turned him away, but he and Charles Stewart gathered a group of about 50 black men, all of whom were determined to become electricians. With the help of Congressman Oscar D. Priest of Chicago, the first black U.S. member of Congress since 1901, and the first elected from a northern congressional district, the group of black electricians was awarded Charter 9362, which essentially allowed them to operate as the first black electrical union. Mike Boyle decided to cooperate instead of competing and started using Charter 9362 members on projects on the south side of Chicago. Just before the United States entered World War II, civil rights activist A. Philip Randolph, president of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, put pressure on U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt to desegregate defense industries. Roosevelt responded with Executive Order 8802, issued in 1941. It demanded the full and equitable participation of all workers in defense industries without discrimination because of race, creed, color, or national origin. It took some time for Local 134 to comply, but in 1943, Sam Taylor, Charles Stewart, and others from the Charter 9362 were admitted to the previously all-white union. See, do I need to mention it again? Why there was a need for DEI? Affirmative action, or any other government agency that was set in place, or law or policy was set in place because of racism. If there was no racism, it would not have to have been rules and regulations that combat racism. So what I disagree with what Trump is doing is you're getting rid of the solutions and not dealing with the problem. You've gotten rid of DEI and other things, but you're not dealing with the problem of racism that is still persistent. Like, you're sending National Guards to these cities, but you're not dealing with the problem, poverty. Okay, let's go on. In the late 1940s, Chicago's early urban renewal policies forced Taylor Electric to move from its longtime location on the city's south side. Many black businesses disappeared due to urban renewal, but Taylor Electric was part of the tiny minority of displaced businesses that survived. The business continued to grow in the 1950s and became a rare union shop where other black electricians continued to be denied union membership. Rufus Taylor, Sam's eldest son, returned from service in Korea to start learning the business from the ground up. In 1969, he officially took over alongside his older sister, Jessie Taylor Dinkins, who took charge of the Taylor Electric Company office, including including accounts payable and payroll. Founder Sam Taylor died in Kalamazoo, Michigan on July 20th, 1973. Rufus Taylor shifted gears from his father's model, which had focused on continually doing the electrical work of small and medium-sized businesses. Instead, partly because of political changes in Chicago and state and national affirmative action policies, he began bidding on and winning large-scale construction contracts. This strategic shift, however, meant becoming involved in the political struggles in Chicago around affirmative action, having co-founded Black Contractors United. In 1979, Rufus Taylor became an early supporter and friend of future Congressman and Chicago Mayor Harold Washington, and was involved in much of the discussion and negotiation around that issue through the 1970s and 1980s. That's what we're going to have to do, Black folks, Native Black Americans, aka FBA. We're going to have to link up with these politicians and let them know we're watching them. We are watching you. Let's go on. Soon, Taylor Electric was working on major projects like the Sears Tower, the McCormick Place expansion, and the People Mover at O'Hare Airport. In the early 1990s, Taylor Electric took over the electrical maintenance at what was then Cosmos Key Park, now Guaranteed Rate Field, and at Soldier Field. The year 1995 could have been the end of Taylor Electric, and for most family-owned businesses, it would have been. Rufus Taylor was shot in a carjacking and later died of his injuries. The board of directors, unsure whether Taylor Electric could continue to maneuver in the turbulent and political and financial waters of Chicago's construction industry without the towering figure of Rufus Taylor, was on the verge of closing the company. That crisis, however, clearly demonstrated the character of the Taylor family and Taylor Electric. Kenny Dinkins, vice president and general superintendent of the company and one of Sam Taylor's grandsons, argued passionately before the board that if his cousin Martha Rufus Taylor's eldest daughter would quit her job at Atlanta and take over the helm at Taylor Electric, the two of them could run the company. Martha was only 33 years old at the time and had never cut a wire or bent a pipe. Moreover, she was a woman in a business where few women had yet achieved positions of leadership. But the board of directors took Kenny Dinkins' advice, and Martha became president of Taylor Electric, now a $4 million a year company. Martha Taylor's 20th year tenure as president of Taylor Electric coincided with Chicago's unprecedented residential building boom, and because of her leadership, Taylor Electric continued to grow. In 2015, when she retired as president, the company had annual revenues of $12 million, making it one of the most successful Black-owned businesses in Chicago. And I wanted to add that I really do feel that if this was a white-owned electric company, their annual revenue would far surpass $12 million. And I'm not downing it, and at least I'm not. Congratulations, much props on the success of their business, but I just know that more projects and more contracts would have been thrown their way if they were white owned. Let's be real with it. Let's go on. Rufus Taylor descendants have continued to run the company from 2015 to the present. Kendra Dinkins continued to serve as president and CEO, and her sister Karen Michelle Dinkins is executive vice president and COO. This partnership has continued to demonstrate the astuteness and toughness shown by their predecessors. Kendra Dinkins has served as president of the Federation of Women Contractors and was inducted in 2022 to the Electric Association Hall of Fame. According to the Bureau Annual Business Survey of the United States Census Bureau, less than 4% Black-owned businesses in 2018 had any paid employees, and the average number of paid workers in employer firms was 9. Taylor Electric Company has about 100 employees. The average annual revenue for Black-owned employer firms in 2020 was just under $1 million. And the average annual revenue of Black employer businesses that were more than 16 years old was $1.6 million. In 2017, Taylor Electric's annual revenue reached $15 million. Because of the family's strength, unity, and flexibility, Taylor Electric Company, now a century-old business, continues to grow. That's crazy. As I said that before I read the end. It was giving you a breakdown of how many employees Black businesses have, their annual revenue, and how long they've been in business. And then it gave you a breakdown of how much money these businesses make who have been in business for 16 years or more. I said if these were Black-owned, if these were white-owned businesses, those numbers, those annual numbers would be much, much higher. Prove me wrong. And don't come in with, oh, you're being racist. I'm getting so... I'm so over you coming in. The first thing when you don't have an argument, the first thing you want to come in and say racist. But here's my thing. Give me some data. Show me that what I'm saying is incorrect. That if these weren't Black-owned businesses, their annual revenue would far surpass that of $15 million. Give me something to show me that what I'm saying is incorrect. You have some typical white-owned businesses that don't even do anything as close to electrical repairs or what have you, and make more than that. You probably have some white-owned bakeries that make more than that. And I think this electric company is essential. Who doesn't need electricity nowadays? All right, folks. Thank you. That's all I have for you guys today. It wasn't that long. The article wasn't that long, but I do appreciate your time and attention. And thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Sharing is caring. And I appreciate you guys. I do. Those who check out my videos and come in and interact, and I interact with you. You're one of the reasons why I continue to do this. I do. I do it because I enjoy it. Trust. I do. All right, folks. I'm out. Be safe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.